Hi students, welcome in chemistry classes and we are studying stereochemistry, a very important topic of the organic chemistry. In our last lecture we have studied about the different types of the 3D representation of the molecules and we have seen how we can interconvert them. Okay, that was quite important. If you don't know about that, then you can not do such type of questions that are asked in the question papers. Okay, so firstly watch that video because that is quite essential. Okay, and in now this lecture we are studying some very important things that are the questions are asked especially on these topics. Okay, so we have to study these all topics, right? First topic is optical activity. We should know a general about the optical activity. What is the optical activity? And one question here is asked about, we have given compounds and we have to find out whether they are optically active or not. Okay, so we will do this whole thing. Next thing is we should know about the enantiomers, diastereomers, homomers and constitutional isomers, and we should know how to differentiate between them. Okay, because we have given different compounds and we have to identify whether they are enantiomers or diastereomers, or they are identical, it means they are homomers, or they are constitutional isomers, right? And the third important thing here is the homotopic and the heterotopic ligands. We have to identify between them, right? That is also quite important. All these topics are very important, so stay with us till the last. Okay, so we are now firstly studying about the optical activity, right? So in our last lecture we have seen that the stereoisomers are of two types. One is known as the enantiomers and another one is the diastereomers. Enantiomers are the mirror images of each other, while diastereomers are not mirror images, right? So the enantiomers have a very important property that they show the optical activity. Okay, so here we are studying firstly about the optical activity. Okay, so the next important thing here is the optical activity and the enantiomerism. Okay, so firstly we have to understand what is the optical activity. Here optical activity means any compound which can rotate the plane polarized light. Okay, so that is called the optically active compound. So firstly understand what is the meaning of the plane polarized light. We know that light can scatter in different direction in this manner. This is the normal light. Okay, but if it is polarized in one direction, then in this manner. Okay, so this is called the plane polarized light. Okay, so what is the speciality of the optically active compounds? That they can rotate this light in the any direction. It means if they are rotating this light in the left direction in this manner, this in the right direction. If they are rotating this plane of the plane polarized light to the right direction, then they are called the dextrorotatory. Okay, and they are shown by the plus sign, right? And if any compound is rotating the plane of this plane polarized light toward the left side in this manner, then it is called the levorotatory, and it is shown by the minus sign. Okay, so this is the speciality of the optically active compounds, and optically active compounds exist as the two isomers, and these isomers are called enantiomers. It means the enantiomers will show the optical activity. Okay, this is the speciality of the enantiomers, right? So what are enantiomers? Enantiomers means any compound that exists as the mirror image. If the two isomers are forming the mirror image, they are mirror images of each other, but the mirror images are non-superimposable. Okay, understand this with the help of example. Suppose this is one molecule. Four different groups are attached here. See here, this is deuterium, phenyl group, and this one is hydrogen, right? This is one isomer. Now see here another one. Now see, what is the difference between these two molecules? You can see that these are the mirror images of each other. If we are putting here a mirror, they will reflect each other. They are the mirror images of each other. But if we want to impose this molecule upon this, if we are putting this molecule from here and imposing upon this, then we cannot do this. It means they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. So such type of isomers are known as enantiomers, right? One thing is clear here, okay? Now understand what is the chirality and what are the chiral compounds, okay? Chirality, so see here, this carbon atom, it attached to 4 different groups, okay? 4 different groups are attached to it, so it is asymmetrical, right? So such type of carbon atoms are known as the chiral carbon atoms, right? And this characteristic is known as the chirality. Okay? So chirality is the special characteristic of the enantiomers. Okay? All the enantiomers will show the chirality. It means if any molecule is showing the chirality, then it will show the enantiomerism. It means for having the enantiomers, the molecule should be chiral. Okay? In this case, you can see here only one atom is present. This molecule has only one central carbon atom to which 4 different groups are attached. And here is only one chiral carbon atom present, right?
So we can say that when one chiral atom is present in a molecule, then it will be definitely optically active, right? But when in a molecule more than one chiral atoms are present, then it can be optically active or it cannot be optically active. It means it can be optically inactive. This whole thing depends upon the total symmetry of the molecule, right? If the molecule is in whole is asymmetric, then it will be optically active, right? So the basic condition for a molecule to be optically active is that first thing is that it should not have a plane of symmetry. That we call POS, right? And another thing, it should not have a center of symmetry. About the plane of symmetry and center of symmetry, I have told you in our video of the symmetry element and symmetry, all the things about the symmetry elements, and I have already made several videos of the group theory, so you can watch that videos, right? Here you should remember that if a molecule is optically active, then it will not have a plane of symmetry and a center of symmetry, right? Suppose I am writing here one molecule. See here, this is a molecule. We can understand this with only the help of examples, okay? So the examples are must. See here, this is the case where only one chiral atom is present. Okay, this is the chiral atom. Why? Because 4 different groups are attached to it, right? So it is the only chiral atom in this molecule. Okay, so this molecule is optically active, right? Now suppose we have given another molecule in this manner. And we have asked either they are homomers or enantiomers. Homomers means identical molecule and enantiomers means if they are the non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Okay, so for this what do you have to do? Just you have to rotate this molecule. Okay, firstly you can see here is no plane of symmetry. Okay, so it is perfectly optically active molecule. Okay, so these are enantiomers, but you can rotate it by 180 degree. Okay, so when we are rotating it by 180 degree, what will happen? This group will go here, right, and this will go down. Okay, and this will take its place and this will go here, right? So we are getting this type of molecule. But see here, this is CH3 here, and if we are rotating this molecule by 180 degree, then what will happen? this CH3 will go up, okay, and here will be COOH, right, and this OH will go here and H. So you can match here. The two molecules are not identical, these are different, okay. So these two molecules are not same, they are not homomers, they are the enantiomers, right. Okay, now consider the another example. When we are considering more than one chiral atoms are present, okay, in this case you will get somewhat difficulty, but you have to see here, either here is a plane of symmetry or a center of symmetry. You can see in this molecule there is a plane of symmetry in this manner. This is the plane of symmetry, okay, by which we can bisect this molecule, right. Here is a plane of symmetry, so this molecule is optically inactive. This is optically inactive molecule, right. So it will not have enantiomers, right. Now if we have given in this manner another molecule, and you have to identify whether they are enantiomers or they are homomers. So you can rotate this molecule by 180 degree. Same thing you have to do as we have done here. This group will go here and this will go here, right. And now what do you have to do? This will go here and this will go here in this manner, right. So if we are making this by the 180 degree rotation, then what will happen? Here we are getting COH and here again we are getting COH, right, and this group will go here, okay, in this manner, right. Now you can match these two molecules. These two molecules are same, it means this is not making the non-superimposable mirror image. We can impose this molecule upon this, right. So the two molecules are same, it means these are homomers. Okay, now see this question here. In this molecule, if you have to identify whether it is an optically active molecule or optically inactive molecule, then what you will do? Just you have to see whether here is a plane of symmetry. No, here is no plane of symmetry. Neither here is a center of symmetry, right. Okay, again you can do here. Suppose we have given one another molecule in this manner and we have to identify whether they are enantiomers or they are homomers. See here. Okay, now what you have to do? Just we have to rotate this molecule, okay. So what will happen? This group will go above in this manner, right, and this group will go down, okay. So here will be COH, right, and this group will go here and this will go here, okay. So we are getting this molecule. Now match two molecules, these are different molecules, right. So these two molecules are enantiomers, okay, and this molecule is optically active. This is the simplest way you can do, okay. See here, next molecule. In this molecule, now what you have to do? Can you imagine whether it is optically active or inactive? Here is no plane of symmetry, right. So this molecule is actually optically active, and if we have to given two molecules in this manner, and asked whether they are homomers or enantiomers, then same thing you have to do. Just we have to rotate this molecule, okay. So rotate this molecule. This is the rotation, okay. This is the 180 degree rotation. Now rotate this molecule by 180 degree. So what we are getting? This will be COOH group again, and here will be the COOH group, right. Now this H will go at the place of the H, okay, and this OH will go here at the place of OH, okay. So we are getting this type of structure, Now you can match these structures. These structures are not same, okay? So these two molecules are enantiomers, okay? And this molecule is optically active. Okay, now see this question from GATE 2005. Here we have to identify which one of these is optically inactive. Okay, we have to identify the optically inactive molecules out of the 4 options, right? So we are starting from this simplest one. See here, in this molecule, this is the chiral atom, okay? This is the chiral carbon atom and 4 different groups, H, OH, COH and phenyl groups are attached to it, okay? So this is chiral, okay? When we are showing the chiral atoms, we make star, okay? So this is optically active, right? So this option is wrong. Okay, now see this. This is the allylic system, allenes. These are the allenes. Okay, and this one is the substituted allenes. Okay, 2 different substituents are attached to the sides of the allenes, right? And such type of systems are optically active. Okay, about the allenes, I will give you one lecture. In this we will see whole the things about the allenes, biphenyls, etc. Okay, so here you should understand only the thing that the allene systems with 2 different substituents are optically active. So this option is also wrong. Now see here, this is the phosphorus atom and 3 groups are attached to it, right? Phosphorus is a larger atom, okay, and the bulky groups are attached to it, okay, so it cannot oscillate, right? So it will make the non-superimposable mirror images, okay? So this is also optically active. So this option is also wrong. Now here nitrogen is a smaller atom, okay? So this can oscillate. The 3 groups about it can oscillate, so it will not make non-separable mirror images. They will get mixed up, okay? So this will be optically inactive. So this option number A is the right answer. Okay, now the next thing is the diastereomers. That is also important. Diastereomers are another type of stereoisomers. We have studied the enantiomers. In enantiomers, they are making the mirror images, non-superimposable mirror images of each other, right? But diastereomers are the stereomers which are not mirror images of each other. Suppose we are seeing this molecule. Okay, and if I am making a mirror image of it, then it will be like this. This molecule is optically active. You can see here are 2 chiral atoms present, okay, and here is no plane of symmetry in this molecule, right? So this molecule is optically active, so it will have a mirror image. It means it will have an enantiomer, okay? So this will be in this manner, right? This is its mirror image. These 2 are the enantiomers, right? Now if I make another molecule in this manner, okay, now see these 2 molecules, can you match them? These are not mirror images of each other, right? But they are also not same molecules. If you are rotating this molecule by 180 degree, you are not getting this structure, okay? So these are not homomers and these are not enantiomers. So these are called the diastereomers. When 2 molecules are not mirror images of each other, but they are stereoisomers, then they are called diastereomers, okay? Similarly, there can be another one. See here, this is the mirror image of this, okay? So these 2 are the enantiomers, okay? But if we are seeing this one and this one, these are the diastereomers. So we can conclude one thing. If there are 2 chiral atoms present in a molecule, then there will be 4 stereoisomers, okay? for stereoisomers. Out of which 2 will be enantiomers and 2 will be diastereomers. Okay, and we can say if there are n chiral atoms present, then there will be 2 to power n stereoisomers. Okay, now the next thing is the constitutional isomers. In the question papers you have seen that there is a very important question it's asked. You have given 4 different options and we have to find out whether these are homomers, enantiomers, diastereomers or constitutional isomers. 2 isomers are given to us and we have given 4 different options and we have to identify them. I have told you about the homomers. Homomers are the identical molecule. If we are rotating by 180 degree and we are getting the same structure, then it will be homomer, right? And enantiomers, if we are rotating by 180 degree and we are getting different structures and these 2 structures are mirror images of each other, then they are enantiomers, right? Diastereomers, when 2 isomers are not same but they are not mirror images, then they will be diastereomers. Now the next thing is the constitutional isomers. Constitutional isomers means when the connectivity of the group, a group is given to us and the connectivity of that group is different in 2 different molecules. Suppose the chlorine is attached to C2 carbon in one molecule and to the C3 carbon atom in the another molecule, then these are called the constitutional isomers. Okay, suppose I am giving you one example, you can see here. Okay, now see here, this is 1 number carbon atom, this is C2, this is C3 and this is C4 carbon atom, right? So see here, here the chlorine is attached to this 3 number carbon atom and here this chlorine is attached to this 2 number carbon atom, right? So these 2 are now called the constitutional isomers. Okay, this and this are now called constitutional isomers. Okay, and if we have to find out the homomers, suppose we have given this structure. Okay, now see here, we can rotate this by 180 degree. If we are rotating, this CH3 will go down, COH will go up. Okay, this Cl will go here and this OH will go here, right? So these 2 structures are same. If we are rotating this by 180 degree, we are getting this structure. So these 2 are now called the homomers. These 2 are homomers. Okay, and if the 2 isomers are the mirror images of each other, in this manner, now you can see here, if we are rotating this, we are not getting the same structure, but these are the mirror images of each other. So these will be called the enantiomers. Okay, but if the 2 structures are neither the mirror images nor the same structures, suppose see here, now see here in these 2 molecules, if you are rotating, you are not getting the same structure, but if you are matching them, these are not mirror images of each other. So these 2 structures are now called the diastereomers. So I think you can now understand this whole concept in a very clear manner. What is the constitutional isomers? What are the enantiomers? What are diastereomers? And what are homomers? Whole thing should be clear in now your mind. Okay. In our next video, we will see some more things like what are the homotopic ligands, what are heterotopic ligands, several things we have to see here. Okay. And we have to also do the questions based on this particular topic, right? So we will see all these things in our next videos. I have to solve several questions also, so we will see them in the next videos. If you like these videos, please comment us and please like and share. Thank you.